Alrighty, looks like we are live. Sorry, guys, I was trying to upload a video and it wasn't cooperating with me, so I'll just have to kind of edit it manually and in real time. Today, we're going to dive into Abby and Libby's case, also known as the Delphi murders. This is the Sleuth Intuition channel, and I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. Okay, so the two things that Abby and Libby have in common with Richard Allen, it's going to be the Monon High Bridge and Riley Park. So what I did was I basically just went online and grabbed a few clips of either the victim's family or the family discussing Riley Park. The clip I have here is Anna. I'm not quite sure who she's talking with. I don't think I've ever seen this specific video here, but she's talking about what the girls were doing the day before, and she talks about Riley Park. Take a listen.
Because she asked. We spent Sunday afternoon doing some pitching and catching and softball stuff with my family.
Okay, so softball stuff, right? We all knew that they were doing something related to softball. Abby just joining the team the days before, spending time with her grandfather, who took her shopping for what? Baseball gear. She's joining the team. Now, Libby, for 2 seasons now, has been playing at Riley Park. And if you can see on the screen there, actually, yeah. Actually, here, let's do this. I have something bookmarked that I meant to have open for you. Let's go to the trusty Google Maps. Hold on, guys. I got a call. All right. Sorry about that. All right, let's go back to this video here. This is Anna, and somebody's interviewing her. I'm not familiar with this interview, but she talks about going to Riley Park on Sunday, the Sunday before the girls were killed.
And then we met the girls, or the girls were down at the park, and by the time I had...
She said after that, so they went down there to play baseball. After that, the girls went down to the park. Okay, so let's take a look at the park. So the Sunday before the girls were killed on the 12th, it was a Sunday. We're here. The softball field at Riley Park. Now, according to Anna, here with they just simply moved over here to this area, which is the playground. Right. And it sounds like Anna might even went off and did her own thing momentarily. She's reluctant to specify that, but she says later on we met up with the girls. Here I'll finish the video here.
Loaded up, I could tell that they were already, doing something. Well, hey, can Abby stay
So
the
she
night?
said once I met back up with them and we loaded up all the gear, she said they were kind of riled up about something. So here, let me show you guys something here. So can you see the baseball field right there? So Abby's been spending the last 2 years practicing and playing at this field here. The day before the murders, Abby is getting ready to join the baseball team and is prepping for that. She's got all her stuff. She's got her gear. She's learning how to do all the basics. So after that on Sunday, they leave the field and they come over here to this playground area right here. But look how close Richard Allen's favorite little fishing hole is. It's right here. He's standing right here. What did he say during his interview? Allen says he walked down to the bridge around noon and said he walked out a little way on the bridge to see if he could see any fish in the water below the bridge. I like fishing. Allen said he sat down for a few minutes and then left. He tried to remember where he had parked that day, but he could not say for certain. Let's go to the chat real quick before we get too far. Wife Lilith, what's up? The little boy who got swept away in the creek while Riley Park still has not been found. Yeah, that's a tragic case. Dan Doolin was headed up that one. Tommy Baker, what's up? Patty Jerry. Who did I miss? All right, got you. Bad actors. Julie Burns, good to see you. J Ray. Karen Brandon, She Warrior. How close is that to where they were found? Well, it's the same creek. Probably, I would say maybe 3 miles. You can walk it. You can hike the creek to the Monon High Bridge. It's rough, but it can be done. But quickly, check this out. So the girls are right here. Specifically Libby, right? Libby seems to be the target. Libby's the one that's spending the majority of her time at Riley Park, from what I've gathered. And a stone's throw away, you have Richard Allen's favorite little fishing hole here. So Richard Allen loves the Monon High Bridge, and he loves Riley Park. So does Liberty German. So these are two worlds that are continuously coming in contact or colliding, right? Crossing paths. Okay. I guess the question is it possible that Libby was being groomed by Richard Allen. Let's keep Kagan Klein out of this. Let's say he thinks he's in a relationship with her or something. The day before says, well, I'm supposed to meet some guy at the Monon High Bridge just to make him jealous, you know? Plus, I'm going to tell your mom anyway, or your mom. It's not even his mom, your wife. Little Freudian slip. It's like his mom, right? His wife mom. Let me see. Let's go to the maps. I don't think it's that far. Almost 2 miles. I guess as the crow flies. Let's see here. Let me finish this off.
Just, well, I got to stop at the house and eat clothes and our art stuff.
See, right? So they're leaving Riley Park all excited about something. And Abby can't just go with Libby, according to Anna. She has to stop and she's got to get a bunch of stuff. Like they're all supercharged about something. So why is it that they're at Riley Park, a place that Richard Allen is known to frequent? And another thing, check this out. Anna and Richard Allen have a friend in common. So let's take a look here. All right, you see this guy right here? We'll call him good friends with, yeah. Super cool shirt. Okay. There he is again at a baseball game with Anna and her grandfather. 2017, shortly after the murders. So that puts Richard Allen pretty close to where he could get that information, right? The girls are going to the bridge tomorrow. That puts him like an ear's length away, where he could actually just kind of overhear it. Eavesdrop, if you will. So there he is there hanging out with the squad. So very close. And remember, that's Richard Allen's buddy there. As you can see, this gentleman here, who was actually arrested just before the murders, along with Kyle Smith. Do you guys remember Kyle Smith? He's a friend of Libby's. And he's also connected to this gentleman. They were arrested at the same party. One received a minor consumption and had court on the 14th, the day after the murders. And this gentleman, BN, who's friends with Richard Allen and Anna Williams, was arrested for fleeing the scene, providing alcohol to minors, and resisting arrest. So there's another weird connection. Remember, that's what we do. We just find patterns. I show it to the crew, and then you guys dissect it. Bell Mayhem. Riley Park is different than City Park, right? Yes. Here, let's put up a video of Riley Park. I found this online. It's a 360 video. Nature walk of parks title is Riley Park and Riley Park Annex. So yeah, Nature Walk of Parks. If you go there, she took a 360-degree video, and you can kind of control it, and that's what I did here. So I wanted to show you guys how close it is to leave this ballpark or just to even be in this area compared to where Richard Allen spent time fishing. And I'll even show you the same location. What are the odds that Libby came in contact with Richard Allen and he began grooming her? Burner phones. Maybe there was even a secret relationship or something. We've always wondered. Okay, so this video is just to kind of give you an idea of how close the baseball field is. Anna said that after they were done playing baseball, they went over into the playground, which is right here. It's next door to the ballpark. The same ballpark that Libby spent 2 seasons playing at. So they would have been somewhere in this area, hanging out, right? Remember the gazebo that I showed you earlier? See it up there in the distance? Welcome in, Jody. Phil Bond, what's up? Julia says, obviously I never met Libby, but if Richard Allen was lurking as himself, grooming Libby and Abby at that age myself, I can't imagine ever being attracted to a 40-something-year-old. Well, what if somehow like he just manipulated her slowly over time? Like I said, he's been spending a lot of time there. She's been spending a lot of time there. What if he became jealous? You know, we hear in Kagan Klein's interview transcript that she was infatuated. Like she believed it. She thought that Anthony Schatz was a real guy. So maybe she dumped Richard Allen or like, hey, you know, I'm not interested anymore. He was telling her everything that she wanted to hear. We all know why he might be attracted to her if he's a sicko, right? So here's the exact location. Let me run it back a little bit of where Richard Allen took that photograph. Oh, I went too far. I might have to pull up the video, but either way, you can see it. It's right here. If you go to the video, you can match the background with his photograph here, if you wanted to. These buildings right here. They're just back over here. Back over in that area. So that's where he would fish, guys. Let's see. Let's go back to Riley Park. Go back to the gazebo. Right? Look, there's the playground. The girls would have been right here. And Richard Allen right here. I mean, that's yelling distance right there. We hear that Richard Allen was sorry about what he did to Abby. And from the beginning of the case, we always thought that Libby was the target. The evidence also shows that she was the one that took more of a brutal attack and was left naked. So you have Abby completely redressed and Richard Allen saying, I'm sorry for what I did to her only. We have Valentine's Day. I can't remember where I heard this, but I think it was during the trial, right? Richard Allen stated during one of his confessions that he won't cheat on his wife ever again or something like that. I know he also said cheated on a cigarette but at another point he mentioned that he was cheating on his wife. He's a sex addict. Maybe that's what he's referring to. Like maybe he thought he was in a relationship with Libby and that's why she reset her phone. She's like, I don't want anything to do with that guy. The creepy guy that I met at Riley Park. What's up, Grunge? Welcome in. Bobo the Gray. He could have fixated on her there because she reminded him. Yeah, and that's what I meant. Why we all know why he might have been attracted to her. They look very similar. It's kind of disgusting to think about, but we do our best to put ourselves in the shoes of these. We're trying to profile them. What are they thinking? What's motivating them? What could have led to this? What's the recipe for this disaster? Well, two things that they have in common is this very location right here. Libby, more so than Abby, she seems to be the target. Valentine's Day was the very next day. She seemed to be enamored by Anthony Schatz. So maybe he catches wind that this guy Anthony Schatz has stepped in, right? She begins stalking them, or he begins stalking them on Snapchat. Maybe he's afraid she's going to tell his wife. Like, oh shit, she broke up with me. Now I got to kill her or something crazy like that. Maybe that's the part that he doesn't want to admit to. So if we take out the Klein connection to Richard Allen and we bring it back into the sphere of a lone wolf, opportunistic, we've always thought, I remember I told you my gut told me that there was an inappropriate relationship taking place. Not quite sure what that could be. Maybe it happened here at the park. Richard Allen worked across the street from Kelsey. We know that Libby spent a lot of time there. People are constantly trying to drag Kelsey into this. Remember, I did a live stream called Any Way That You Slice It, and there was no pun intended with that. I meant it metaphorically. No matter what theory you have to somehow punch Richard Allen into that theory. So if you guys want to blame Kelsey, you have to somehow connect those two together. If you can't do it, you have to shut the fuck up. So that's another thing they have in common. Would be the Dairy Queen. We know Libby was there constantly. There's trails back there too. Wasn't there a case of a young lady who took her own life back there by that Pizza Hut? Does anybody have any information on that? Everybody speculated that it was related to the Delphi case because it's right there on the historic trails. And now with the arrest of Richard Allen, it does seem a little suspicious. Right across the street from the CVS. I mean, what does he do on his lunch break, right? What are his options? McDonald's. And don't forget they have free Wi-Fi. Using a burner phone in the CVS off of the McDonald's Wi-Fi that's next door. Could easily be doing that and operating the Anthony Schatz account anonymously. But when it's lunchtime, what are his options? He's got Pizza Hut, where Tom Webster made that funny ass video where he's sitting in there eating the pizza, remember? He made him stay late. What a jerk. Making the poor Pizza Hut staff stay late. Good thing he did. because it's a classic video. But behind that Pizza Hut is the historic trails, and there's a small bridge there, and apparently a young lady took her own life right there. It was kind of covered up. I couldn't find any information on it, but I know that it happened. What's up, Mark? Julia could see maybe a scenario where Richard Allen was stalking both girls. Maybe he offered them weed, alcohol, and they wanted to get weed, alcohol to impress a boy even. I did similar antics at their age. I agree. I think it's very possible. Recently, there was a case there at Riley Park, actually. There was an older man. I think he was in his 20s. He might have been like 24 years old. He lured two 14-year-old girls out into the woods. And everybody sounded the alarm. And when they caught him, they were smoking weed out there. So that's a real scenario, Julia. You know, a lot of people they want to be sanctimonious or whatever. You're re-victimizing the kids. But no, it's true. Like when you're a teenager, some people, they're exploring, they're drinking alcohol. They're not alcoholics. They're just testing shit out, you know? I was a bad kid. No, you know. I also hung around with some kids that were bad, but their parents thought they were perfect angels. You know, they knew how to hide it well. I didn't hide it. You know, I was just a handful, very rambunctious. So this little street view here from the gazebo shows you how close their worlds really were. Was Richard Allen here that day, the day before, that Sunday, with his friends? The same friend that's connected with Anna? Was Richard Allen fishing right here that Sunday? And the girl standing right here talking to him? What's up, Cryptex? That's funny. Okay, so let's go to another video here. Let's see. Can probably find it this way. Riley Park. Parque. Riley Parque. There it is.
Tensions are again running high after a plea from Liberty German's grandfather to find whoever killed his granddaughter and her friend, Abby Williams. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Fechner.
I'm Erica Fly. This is the first time we've heard from Libby or Abby's family since their bodies were found more than 3 weeks ago.
RTV6's Chance Walser tonight has new insight into the lives the two teens led before they went on that hike back on February the 13th.
Mark's asking, Sleuth, did you mention the lady that killed her husband thinking he was bridge guy? No, not today. Allison Jones is her name. And I believe her boy's name is Maddox. Rest in peace, Maddox.
We're at Riley Park tonight in Delphi. This is where Abby and Libby played softball. Today, Libby's family and former coach talked about how much this place in particular meant to her.
Even if you were having a bad game or whatever and girls were down, she'd, kind of bump them, trying to get them back in a better mood.
Bridget Stevens coached Libby's 2014 and 2015 softball teams.
2014 and 2015, and now Libby's on 2016 going on 2017. So she's very familiar with that area. She spent a lot of time there. If that's one of Richard Allen's favorite places to go, I think there's a good chance that he might have been grooming her. He may have become jealous. The interview with Kagan Klein, investigators say, well, Liberty was sold. Like she was sold into the Anthony Shots account. She was enamored by this. She was buying into it all. Now, if she thought that she was talking to this young, successful, good-looking guy, maybe she blew off Richard Allen. Remember, she reset her phone 10 days before the murders. Maybe that's why. He's like, you better erase everything that, you know, or I'm going to kill you or something. Maybe he was the reason. Maybe he threatened her. Like, if you're going to dump me and you're going to start dating this Anthony Schatz guy, you better delete everything that's on your phone, and you better not say a word, or I'm going to, you know, do such and such.
He thinks back fondly on those days at Riley Park. Libby was an eager participant.
And if she couldn't play a position, she wanted to try it. So she was always wanting to try something different.
Our girls were excited about the upcoming softball season.
Today, Libby's grandfather addressed a room full of reporters. On February 12th, he said, the day before they went missing, Libby and Abby came here to dust off their equipment and skills. Big plans cut short by a killer still on the loose.
Okay. So there you have it. The girls were here at Riley Park the day before the murders. They spent time over here at the field, transitioned over here to the playground area, which you can really keep it in the same frame if you want to. See, you got Richard Allen's favorite fishing hole on the right, and the playground that the girls were spending time alone with no parental supervision. Not that they should. It's a park. It's very large. You know, the parental units could have been somewhere nearby. It's a beautiful park. But it's not just Riley Park, right? Here you have Richard Allen and Riley Park. But then you also have the Monon High Bridge Trail. Fancy meeting you here, Libby. You come here? Yeah, I come here all the time. Who, Allison Jones? Oh, you guys want to hear that? All right, let's go check out that then. Allison Jones. Okay, Allison Jones. Incidents from Morgan County, Georgia, where Allison Jones, a 36-year-old mother, killed her 7-year-old son, Maddox Jones, and attempted to shoot her husband, Douglas Jones, on March 1st, 2021. The case is notable for Jones' delusional belief that her husband was the perpetrator of the Delphi murders, a high-profile double homicide in Indiana from 2017. 5 months before the killing, on October 6, 2020, Allison Jones visited the Morgan County Sheriff's Office and reported her belief that her husband, Douglas, was the killer in the Delphi murders, an unsolved case involving the 2017 murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German in Delphi. She claimed to have consumed extensive YouTube content about the case, convincing herself that Douglas was the suspect depicted in Sketches and Vibes. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't think mental health issues and YouTube do not mix. That's one thing I'm noticing. A deputy interviewed her, recorded the conversation, and found her claims baseless, noting no resemblance between Douglas and the Delphi suspect sketch. A lot of people say that about Richard Allen.
County, a 7-year-old boy.
Crazy. Oh, he'll never be out. He'll never get out. I would have killed him, I think, if I was the father. Julia Burns. I'm now thinking more into this older, friendly man stalking them, offering access to weed. Yeah, it's very possible. That's very logical. We had creepy guys like that when I was a teenager that we didn't even really know about. Like when I was in high school, I would sell like not a lot, but I sold pot on and off, kind of just to pay for itself. And there would be like these old, weird, creepy guys that would somehow end up being my customer. And they just ended up being around all the time. They could get, and they always were like, "Oh, I'll get you guys alcohol." So you never know. Maybe Richard Allen was the creepy old guy. Yeah, he's admitted to that. He basically called crossing the bridge a ritual. He said he would get to the trails, go back, all the way to the bridge, cross the bridge, and come back. Said it was something they did often. I mean, it's a nice place. I think if I lived right there, I would do the same thing. If you lived nearby those trails, that'd be a great place to get some exercise. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we experienced some earlier today. We were covering the Karen Reed case, and a bunch of cult members came in there. It was weird. It was like an organized attack. It was like, wow, it's been a while since I drew any of that kind of attention. J Ray, so does that mean Libby's phone only had 10 days worth of data available, or were they able to grab more from the cloud or whatever? Honestly, that wasn't made clear to me. I don't know if they were able to go pre-factory reset or not. It wasn't really explained or talked about during the trial. But so I'm assuming, yes, only 10 days worth of data, which is already missing a few days. Well, let me see. 7 days of communication with Anthony Schatz. And what's funny is it coincides with what Richard Allen did. Or excuse me, Kagan Klein. He deleted his phone from the 10th all the way to the 6th. And she deleted her phone from the 10th. Or excuse me, I think around the 4th. The morning of the 4th is when Libby reset her phone. He sells weed and alcohol. He'd ask if he could hang out at parties. Yeah, I went to a party one time, and I've been to a few parties growing up where I saw teachers. We had a gym teacher that got fired. She was a lesbian, and apparently she was, when the girls were showering, she was watching them. She would watch them shower through some kind of like secret hole or in a place where she could kind of hide. Yep, she got fired. Actually, I think that happened to 2 PE coaches throughout my tenure. I think one was in junior high and one was in high school. One was a female and one was a male. He like walked into the girls' locker room or something like that after hours. So you had the boys' basketball over here, and then you had the girls' volleyball going on over here. He tried to act like it was an accident and walked into the girls' locker room. He's like, "Oh, this is a shortcut or whatever. Usually I didn't know you guys were playing today or practicing today." But he just literally walked in on the entire volleyball team while they were showering. Julia, Coach D got fired when he asked for our composite cheers pick. Oh, geez. Yep, there you go. Sicko. The red flags are there, but the thing is, when you're a child, that's what makes it disgusting, and that's why these creeps target children, because we're naive. At that age, we haven't experienced anything. We're gullible. That's why these pieces of shits target young kids. It's part of their depravity. But I was going to make a video on this, so we'll probably hang out another 5 minutes. But it is much easier just to go live. That way I can talk with you guys, try to help explain the thought process. But let me know what you think about this. The Monon High Bridge Trail, Riley Park. We got Valentine's Day. We have Libby spending pretty much almost 4 years at that park prior to her death alongside Richard Allen. You know, that's about when he moved in, right? 5 years before the crime. You be the judge. That's funny. Karen, I'm surprised Richard Allen is still alive in prison. Yeah, I heard he had the whole place on lockdown last month, so he might be causing his own little fricas. What was that other little bridge near Riley Park? The one where the girl took her life? Here, let's take a look at that, actually. If you guys can dig this up, all you web sleuths, please send it to me. There was a young lady shortly after the Delphi murders who took her own life near the Pizza Hut. Okay. So you have Riley Park right here within walking distance of CVS. So if you work at CVS, the only food options for lunch, you know, if you want fast food, it's going to be McDonald's, Dairy Queen, and that's where Kelsey worked. So Richard Allen and Kelsey definitely could have crossed paths there. And then you have Pizza Hut. And we know that Libby spent a lot of time at the Dairy Queen. Okay, so you have the Pizza Hut, and then there's a bridge right here that's on the Delphi Historic Trails. And somewhere near here is where apparently she took her life. Somewhere near this bridge. Maybe even possibly this tree right here. Yeah, actually, that's probably it. Because you could stand up here. Stand up right on this ledge here. So this might be it right here. And strangely enough, it's on the Monon High Bridge Trail, or the historic trails. And it's right next to the Pizza Hut right here. Dark Side. Wonder what Richard Allen and Kathy did that Valentine's Day that year. That's a good question. Cryptex, what up? How far is the Marathon gas station from Raleigh Park? It's right up the street. It's walking distance. So Marathon gas station right here. Riley Park baseball field right here. $500 feet to the baseball field. Yeah, nobody's ever talked with the people that were working that day. They've got to be from town, you'd think. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for hanging out real quick. Like I said, I was just going to kind of put this information together and make a video out of it, but I've been having issues with my software. That's why I was late to the live stream earlier. I couldn't put this video together. It's like locking up. It won't allow me to kind of finalize the product after the editing. So figured, hey, what the hell? Let's just go live. I'll put it up on the screen for you. You guys tell me what you think. Replay crew, you know what to do. Tell me what you think. Karen, did Abby and Libby live with their grandparents? Yes, actually, and yeah, both of them did. Because I think Abby was living with her mother, and I think her mother was living with her mother. But I could be wrong. I think they might have been roommates. All right, guys, we might have a little bit of time a little bit later on tonight. Maybe we can recap on all this stuff and touch on anything that you guys wanted to go over. If you need me, shoot me an email at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. If not, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.